Hello, Marketing 123. Did something a little unconventional. This week I already submitted my assignment for the personal and professional goals, but after doing so, I remembered something that I actually just got finished working on, and it's a perfect example of a professional goal and really goes through the steps of self-leadership. So I wanted to share that with you now. So I guess just consider it a little bit of a bonus, and maybe it'd be interesting to you. So the first step of self-leadership, we've got setting goals and objectives. So in this case, I had an idea. I wanted to create an exclusive beer for the company I work for, Trump National Golf Club, Charlotte. Something that would be special to our property, you wouldn't be able to get anywhere else. And I specifically wanted to go through the Sycamore brand to do so. Now, I had a meeting with their regional representative, and he just kind of laughed off the idea, said, "Oh, you don't sell nearly enough beer at your property. I don't think we would be able to do it. In order for you to move a ship as large as ours in that kind of a direction, you're going to have to sell a minimum of 50 cases per quarter." Well, of course, I took that on as a challenge and said, well, why not try to do that? I even remember looking him in the eye right across from our banquet table and saying, "Ryan, this is going to happen. It's just a matter of how and when." He said, "You're one crazy SOB." And I said, "Yes, I am, but we're going to make this work." Step 2, territory analysis and account classification. Now, this is kind of different than how our book talks about these situations, because we kind of think of this from the position of a salesperson. But in a way, I had to play that role because I had to convince each different department on property to really start pushing the Sycamore product if this was going to happen. So in a way, I did have to be sort of a middle guy salesperson for the Sycamore brand. So I went around to each area of our property. The pool, we have sort of a turn house, like a local bakery type of thing. We have a general store, and we have our main tavern fine dining restaurant. We also have a men's and women's lounge. So I had to go to each one of those and really evaluate what sells there, and what products the Sycamore have that we could push in those areas. I really had to talk to the membership. I had to talk to the leaders, the managers of those areas, and find out what's selling, what's not selling. Step 3, we've got development of strategies and plans. Once I had the information that I needed, I had to come up with a way to sell more product. So what we did was we held workshops for the employees, I'd say once every couple weeks or so. And I also just, in general, I would stop by and talk to people. Sometimes word of mouth is just super easy thing to do. A lot of people overlook it. But I would stop in. I would also bring the rep. I would introduce the employees to him. He would bring them T-shirts and koozies and things like that, kind of try to butter our employees up. And it worked phenomenally well. They started selling the product. And I can tell you, which we'll get into how I know this a little bit later, but I can tell you that we went up in about a 3-month period, so a full quarter, 800% in our Sycamore beer sales, which is incredible. Of course, Sycamore's agent, Ryan, was super happy about this. He was getting all kinds of kudos from his boss as well. It was awesome. Kind of an anomaly for their brand. So anyway, another thing that we did was, for the first time on property, we really started advertising what we were having. Sycamore had a lot of special releases, limited things like that. So we tried to really let the membership know what we had. This included posters that I got from Sycamore, digital posters as well, so that we could make ads that went out to the whole community, all of our membership, to let them know what we had. I mean, at the end of the day, the people didn't know what we had, so they were just, "Oh, what do you got?" And it kind of went from that to them coming in and saying, "Oh, I saw this on your monthly newsletter. I would really like to try this." And then, of course, we let them try it. So we saw our beer sales property-wide after those 3 steps were implemented. We went from, well, I can't tell you the numbers, but I can tell you property-wide, our beer sales went up almost 45% in 1 quarter. 1 quarter, which was just unbelievable. So step 4, tapping technology and automation. We did have to establish some tracking systems, some things I was not really familiar with before. It was unknown territory for me. I've been working on this project now for about a year, and I had just been promoted to management at the time. So what I did was I set up a spreadsheet for each department and then for myself. What this allowed me to do was track what beer was selling in what area, what quantities of it were selling, and then, of course, break it down into our total numbers by style, total numbers just in general, beer sales, the difference between draft beer and canned beer. So, yeah, I had to really develop a lot of systems for that. And speaking of the CRM systems, I was able to utilize my friend Ryan, I mentioned from Sycamore. I was able to utilize their CRM system that they use for their different accounts to sort of track some of the information and back my numbers up against theirs as well, which was in the end very useful because his wasn't quite as accurate as mine was. I was a little insane about the little details and everything. So it was able to give kind of a more accurate number, but I monitored his systems as well to see our percentage of sales increases, things like that. And we actually got such a trustworthy relationship that he allowed me to use his private code to tap into his account so that I could see what Sycamore was seeing. That was huge for us. And then step 5, assessment and evaluation. Now, we just completed all of the steps to get this beer out. We have the recipe. We know what's going to work. We have the label completed, but we're not going to push it until the springtime because it is curtailed more toward the golf membership. So we want to wait till the temperatures get back up before we really try to push this thing. So I wouldn't say that I have a lot of assessment and evaluation based on the finalized product. But what I can say is we did allow some of the members to try samples of the prototype product. And so we were kind of able to get some feedback. We were able to get feedback as well from the individual departments, which was great as well. I was able to see the number of the prototypes that sold in each area. And then back to sort of more of the planning stage, I had to figure out the logistics, the legalities. I had to act as a middleman in order to facilitate this partnership between Sycamore Brewing and Trump National Golf Club Charlotte. And I'm pretty proud to say we've got an awesome relationship now. Their sales team is phenomenal. They help us out at every turn. We push their product like no man's tomorrow here, and it's really been an awesome, mutually beneficial connection that we've made. So as a team here at Trump National, we really had to kind of implement all 5 of those steps, but being the front runner, the kind of the kingpin of this project, I really did have to go through all of those 5 steps of self-leadership. Somehow, as I was reading about this in the book, I didn't really make that connection. Otherwise, I would have posted this sooner. But as soon as I thought about that project, I wanted to share that with you and kind of hope that maybe that would act as a little bit of a bonus to my previous content that I uploaded. So anyway, I've taken up enough of your time now. Go watch somebody else's video, but I hope you enjoyed this and found it a little bit useful, maybe inspirational for some projects you may be working on professionally as well. Bye for now.